Florian Wirtz, you're going to get to see him in the Far East. So is Craig. I'm unspeakably jealous.
Yeah, it's incredibly exciting, and it sort of takes you back to that day when you did sign him, and how I felt like this like real childlike excitement, and I've tried to almost compare and describe to people like the level of excitement I felt, and like literally the closest I can get is Fernando Torres. And like Torres was probably the fourth best team in Spain at the time, because the Atletico were probably worse than Valencia around those times. He was still that sort of like, he was almost like a Mo Salah, Sadio Mane signing. He wasn't like completely like, you can guarantee this fella is like, you know, in the top 10 of world football. He's worth £100 million. Like that, like it's hard to put into words that level of excitement. And again, it was partly because like Liverpool just haven't behaved like that in the transfer market for so long. Really, like Craig even references, you know, the world record fees for defenders, and I think it was the second world record fee for a keeper at the time, wasn't it? Because Chelsea just signed Kepa.
No, was it the way around.
Oh right, okay.
We got him first, and then they did Kepa.
And then they did Kepa shortly after. So yeah, it didn't last for very long that it was the world record. But even then, like, we didn't know how good Alisson Becker was going to be. I remember United fans on the tweet of us announcing Virgil van Dijk being like, we've got Harry Maguire for the same money you've paid and stuff like that.
Signed him from fucking Southampton.
Exactly. So like, it's just like another level of excitement. And like, listen, there's a list of people, of course, around all the Jota stuff that I feel like incredibly sorry for. My heart bleeds for. Somewhere down that list is Florian Wirtz and Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong, in the sense that like they've come into this new football club. This unspeakable Mamardashvili, of course, yeah. This unspeakable tragedy has happened, and like not that it like takes the shine off them in any way, because that's not really the way for them. I'm sure that they'll look at it, or that any of us should look at it, but almost in the sense of like, wow, it's like actually becomes harder for me to just integrate into this now, because all these lads are brothers and they've all got their arms around each other now. But like, if there's one footballer who it's by the sounds of it, like when I spoke to Archie Rintut from ESPN about Wirtz, like Wirtz has actually faced a lot of adversity in his career. Like in that sense, he's almost not a £100 million footballer.
And it's in the article that as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like it's like a £100 million footballer. You almost think as the fella who just like, oh yeah, he was the best all age groups, and he cruised all these academy setups, and he was just the best on every team for ages. Wirtz is sort of like I'm sure he was that for so much of it, but he's also faced a lot of adversity. He's faced like being kicked the shit out of in the Bundesliga for a couple of seasons now. Like every challenge that he's had to face where he did become the best player in the Bundesliga as voted for by his peers, he's like risen to every occasion. So I think he's really going to take to Liverpool life like a duck to water, and I'm so intrigued and excited to see how that looks in the sort of interim, like as he is just bleeding in, and like all those little bits in training where like you probably do want to impress a bit more. I love the Glenn Price anecdote from a couple of years ago. I've shared it on a couple of shows now, I think, where he mentioned about Alisson Becker's first summer at the club, and because Alisson Becker came with a bit of reputation of he's a really good goalkeeper, Glenn was like, you could see that people were missing more chances because they were basically trying to stick it right in the top corner.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited to see Wirtz doing that, but just sticking it in the top corner past our brilliant goalkeepers and running past our brilliant defenders and being like, I'm going to make a tit out of you because I want to make an impression now.
I think there's something with him, Keir, where he's the one. For instance, we just talked about part one. I would be excited by Rodrigo. You mentioned Andy Gordon. I'd be excited by Andy Gordon. And I think that Liverpool had a bit of a funny relationship with number 9 last season. So there's a chance that whatever happens at number 9 punches Liverpool up in a significant way. But the one that I think punches Liverpool the most is the idea of a creative fulcrum in the middle of the pitch. That's what we didn't have. The creative fulcrum was Salah. I still expect Salah to be very, very creative. But Wirtz is coming in, I think, knowing my job is to be Liverpool's creative fulcrum in the middle of the pitch.
And Liverpool wanted him for that reason. They were the number one target for the reason. I was lucky enough to speak with someone who met with Slot's mentor when he was a player and when he's a coach now. And he said to me, the maddest thing is he's not playing how he wants to play. He wants to play in the final third completely. When Liverpool go 1-0 up, you see Van Dijk comes into the centre circle and everything just goes through Virgil this way. We're moving that into the edge of their box. And we're moving the whole game another third down the pitch. And we've now got the quality to do it. I mean, it's going to be hard to do that with players like Nunes, no disrespect to him, but you can't play that game with them type of players. But when you've got like Florian Wirtz or Isaac or Ekitike and these type of players who are coming in, it's really exciting. And other teams are going to find themselves spending a lot of time in their own box, speaking to their own goalie and their own defenders, because Liverpool is going to push them right back and play the game in the final third. And Alisson's going to be sitting off having a ciggy, I'm telling you.
There's something saying you're going to get to go and see him in the Far East. The reason why I'm genuinely jealous of that is I think we'll see on telly, I hope anyway we get to see in a couple of games, we'll see some spectacular moments from Liverpool. But the thing that I'm really, as old as it is to say, I'm looking forward to sitting on the ground going, oh my God, the movies. the ability to find space, the little pocket, whether he's used or not used, the way he pulls defenders, the concern that they've got. You're going to get to see that for the first time. I think that sort of intuitive, which everyone's told about, that ability to be the footballer, you can find space where there is not. And that's the sort of thing that you appreciate the most when you actually get to watch players in the flesh.
And also having another footballer, a new footballer who has all of the ability to become the fella.
I hope you're enjoying this free show at the moment. Loads of excellent, exciting stuff on the Anfield app. If you want to be part of the whole thing, you can download the Anfield app and go from there. Or you can subscribe via the YouTube membership as well for video-only content and other bits and pieces. We love doing these shows. We love that you watch them. So come, be part of the journey with us.